we gonna do today? Well, today we are gonna make 3D pop-up card. Let's get started. I'm first gonna start by finding some fun paper. And for the one that I just showed you, I used this sheet of paper and this sheet of paper. You could actually just use white paper for the flowers and draw your elements of your flowers in or stamp them. In the description, you will see a link you can click on to get this template, and this kind of describes what we're doing. I know I need 7 flowers for the pop-up, and each flower will be 3 by 3 inches. So what I started doing first is cutting 3 by 3 squares out of this flower. So I kind of just drew around, and these are 3 by 3 blocks, but I think I ended up getting like 5 out of this. And then what I also did, I think I used that one and this one, so I had 2 more. And I cut these squares out. So you can see, I have all my 3 by 3 squares cut out, and I have 7 of them. So when you have your 7 blocks cut out, what you're gonna do is fold them up. Point to point, we're going to do a triangle, and then bring it over again. You have another triangle, and then one more time. And it's gonna be a little bit thick, but it's not too bad. The thinner the paper you use, the thinner it'll be. So here's one that we had folded the opposite way, and it doesn't really matter which way you fold it in or out. So what I did next is I made a little template and I rounded this piece right here because you really want it to be symmetrical. So I'm like this, and what I will do is just cut these out. You can get fancier and do little points, do a round come up, and I've done several different ones. So let's open all of these up. And I have 7 of these. The next thing we're gonna do is you need to take 1 slice of this 8-slice pie, 1 slice out. So you might even wanna look and say, you know, the floor, I don't want it to have this much green, so maybe I'll pull this piece out. Cut this out of each of them. Now, if you were just using white paper and you wanted to decorate your flower, this is probably when you would do it. Is we are now going to take one of these pieces of the pie and lay it over the top of the other and glue this down. I'm just using glue stick. You could use tape, double stick tape. You could use just regular glue. I'm just using extra strength glue stick. See, it's like that. And let's do that to all of these. Okay, you want to let those set. I'm going to fold these like this. Sometimes you have to like turn it to get it to make sure they're really lined up. So now it looks like we just have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now it's going to look like this. So I tried to give you some glue placements or heavy duty tape placements. So this is the part that really is important. So when you watch, if you need to, go back through and look. The first one, I'm putting a dot of glue on the top 2 corners, and you don't want to cover the whole thing. You really just want something strong right there at the tip. I use glue on some of them, but I think I'm going to try this double stick tape I got. I'm going to take my first 2 sets here. I'm lining that up with this. There we go, on the right side. And I'm going to do the same thing with the left side. And then what we're going to do is put a dot at the top center. Take our next set of petals and put this right on top. And as you can see, it's only being attached at that top, right there. So this one, I'm putting it up on the same one on the end. Same place we did on the first one, but then we're also gonna do here and here. So line one of these up, one goes there. And same with this one. One goes there and one goes there. So now we're at the very last piece. I'm putting 3 little dots right up at the top, and I am just going to line this up here. There you go. Now let's get to our card. So this is the paper I used to make the inside of my flower, and this is what I had left from it. But you can use any paper you want. So once again, I'm just going to add this. So you can see I just bringing it really close to this corner edge. I'm gonna lay it down. Now I am going to do the same thing right here. Let's see how well we did. There you go. And so I don't go right to the center of the card. I go just really close when I put my first tape down. You want this to expand, but you don't want them to rip apart. So now this is the fun part where you can add all your fun extra pieces. I'm gonna line it all up before I do it. For this, I think I'm gonna use my glue stick. So you can see I'm gluing these and tucking them in underneath the pop-up. And I made a little opening there so he could go underneath here. So no two have to be the same. And you can see, just depending on the paper and what you want to use, you can make each one look completely different. I think this looks really, really cute just the way it is. So I'm gonna glue this down to this sheet of paper because I decided I really don't want this to show. So this is just another sheet of really pretty paper I have. And so what I'm gonna do is glue this down onto here. I'm gonna put a little bit of tape and then some glue. So what I'm gonna do next is finish up my edges here. So I'm gonna use this, it's a distressable crayon. So it's kind of fun, distressed crayon. But you actually, all you'd really have to use is any sort of antiquing ink. And I'm just going along these edges where you can see the paper and you'll see what I'm gonna do. You could even use like a wax on the white edges. Now when I use this, you need to use a little bit of water, and I'll show you what this does. Kind of blends it in like watercolor. And I don't mind if it goes into the flower a little either. So any of those white edges that I see. So this is where if you cut it perfectly symmetrical and you glue it down and line it up perfectly, you don't even need to do this. But I kind of like this look. I'm just gonna use some a brown ink and kind of go around the edges just a little more to distress it, but you don't need to do any of this. Okay, so now the last thing I'm gonna do is I am going to cut all of this out. There you go. So I hope you guys actually try this one out. There was another one we had done where I had used just a plain paper, just a regular sized card, added the floral in, added some other papers and some transfers to it. So depending on the design you want, you can make it look 100 different ways. But I hope you try it out, and thanks for watching.